Hello, in this video we will take a look at an array in PowerShell. What is an array? An array can store a collection of values in a variable, and that variable is an array. That collections of values can be of same data type or can also be of different data types. And the value within the array can also be another array. So let's take a look at the examples of an array and some of the operations on the array in this video. Let's get started. So let's define one variable called numbers, and let's start declaring numbers as an array. So how do you define it? You give the numbers, you assign the numbers and add them as the comma separated values. So I'm just defining some numbers over here. Right, so this is the numbers that's assigned to the numbers array, and what that means is it really holds all these values, right? So let's do write host and let's quickly just validate that, right? So I'm going to run this, and as you can see, the numbers is displaying 1, 5, 8, 11, 15, 19, 20, 25 without comma, right? So these are all the numbers stored in the numbers array variable. Now let's see, how do you access the individual values which is in the array? If you would like to access the first value within the array, so array is based out of 0 index. So if you put 0 in the bracket, this is how you can actually access the very first value within the array. So when we run this, it will print 1 because 0 is the first value, and the first value is really the 1. Let's see, if you just change it to 1, what that means is you would like to access the second value, and if you execute this, you would get 5. All right, so this is how you can actually access the individual indexed, and then that way you can access the value which is at that position. Now you can also use a dot and then a number to access the part of an array. In this case, you would like to access from the second value till the fifth value, right? So first .4, because it's based out of 0 index, you would like to take second value to fifth value. So let's go and execute this, and as you can see, from the second number, which is 5, you would like to get 4 numbers, right? So which is at the fifth position. So 1, 2, 3, 4, which is 5, 8, 11 and 15, right? So this is how you can actually access the part of the values in an array, right? Now let's see, if you would like to access the last value within the array, how you do that? So if you just type in -1 within the bracket in the array, you can access the last element of an array, right? That's a little trick, and this is how you can access the last value of the array. All right, let's take a look at another trick. If you would like to access, let's say, last 3 values within the array, how would you do that? So you put -3 ... -1. So what that means is this would return the last 3 numbers in an array, and as you can see, it has returned 19, 20, 25. So that's another little trick on how do you work with last numbers, how do you retrieve the last numbers from an array. Now if you would like to know the length of this array, so what that means is how many values are there in the array, you can simply .type and you can use length, and that would give you how many numbers do we have in the array. And as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 numbers, and that's why the length is returning as 8. Now what if you would like to manipulate an array? What if you would like to change values of some index position in the array? All right, so let's just say I really would like to replace the second number with 6. All right, and then let's again reprint this so that we can see the difference. Let's hit run, and now as you can see, the based out of 0 index, the second value within the array will be replaced with 6. As you can see, first we have 1 5 8 11 and so on. We printed the numbers, but now then we have changed the second value within the array to 6, and if you now print numbers, you can see now the numbers have changed to 1 6 8 and so on, right? So this is how you can actually manipulate and change a specific value at a specific index within the array. Now let's take another way. How can you add the element, or how can you add a value to an array? Okay, however, there is one catch here, so let's take that as an example and see what is the issue that we will encounter. Now let's see, if you have the numbers, you can also use add as an element to be added to this, and let's add 35. All right, and let's try to print the numbers. So what we expect is after 30 we should also have 35 added within the array. So let's try and execute this, and you will see that it has thrown an exception saying that add with an argument is not valid because collection was of a fixed size. Right now what that means is this array is not really dynamic, it is of fixed size, right? So you can check that whether the array is fixed size or not with this simple property which will tell whether the array is fixed size or not. And you can see the last output is true. What that means is this array is really fixed size, and that's the reason you really cannot add the value with this method. All right, so let's see how we can actually rectify this and how we can actually use this add method for the array. So now the way we can approach to have add as well as remove the values from an array is, this is how you work with that. So you declare a variable, let's say numbers, new object system dot collections dot ArrayList. So you need to define the numbers as an array list and not really the fixed size array which we declared earlier. So now let's see if you would like to add a number to that, right? So let's put an add, and then of course let's write it on the host so that we get to know the output, and let's run it. And as you can see, now we have a 0 as well as 4. So what that means is it adds 0th index as well, and then it has also added the number 4. Okay, so what we can do, we can copy this, and we can also remove a value actually within the array, right, and not the index. And let's copy this and let's write it back. And as you can see, let's clear this so that we don't have the confusion. All right, let's remove this, let's add, and as you can see, it has just removed the 0 number. And to validate that, let us also remove number 4. So that means we are not really removing the index of the within the array, we are really removing the value, right? So let's run that, and as you can see, the array list is, so that it's more evident, and as you can see, the list is really empty, right? So if you would like to use add and remove, we should be using the array list and not really the array. And this is how we can actually work with the array and array list and perform the operations on them. I hope this simple tutorial helped you to understand the array and array list. I thank you for watching the video.